I'm Renee Rochelle, the founder and president of One True Match. I'm here to help you find and cultivate the love of your life. For over a decade, I've dedicated my life to the importance, purpose, and dynamic of human relationships. My team and I are disciplined by faith, love, and integrity to help our clients find the quality relationship they've always dreamt of. Each week, I will be sharing the tools and tips I've learned that have rooted my success as a matchmaker with other leaders around the world.
Hello, loves. Welcome back. I'm so excited for this next episode of God's footprints in people's lives to introduce our next guest who has such an incredible story of the day she met the Lord and just her journey that we're going to share today and get in, of course, to a little bit of relationships because that's what we're here to do for everybody. So welcome, and I'm so excited to have Rebecca Stockwell here.
Hi.
And we hear about you all the time, of course, from your father, who's a big part and firm believer in what we do and all things relationship and love. And this is his beautiful daughter, who is doing wonderful things and watching you grow from even just the last couple of years and do mission trips and things like that before. Yes. I am so excited for you to share your story and all that God has done in your life. So we're going to begin with a few questions. And the first one I want you to obviously tell everybody is a little bit about you and who you are.
Yes. Okay, so my name's Becca. I'm 20 years old. I'll be 21 in October. I go to Samford University. I'm studying business management, and then I'll concentrate in nonprofit work in hopes of eventually one day opening a nonprofit homeless organization. I love the Lord. I love Africa.
I love it.
Missions.
There's so many great things that the world needs
Yes.
from your calling. So that's just a blessing right there in its own, that all of the passion that you have behind everything too.
Thanks.
And so tell me your testimony of the day you first met the Lord.
Wow. Okay, so how I met the Lord. I feel like for me, it was less of like a specific moment and kind of just like more him working through other people like throughout my whole life, even to this day. I remember I started going to church. I started going to youth group, Wednesday night youth group at Crosswater Church. One of my neighbors invited me. And at first it was like, oh, there's free pizza, like, let's go play games. And I was like, oh, I'm so down for that, like, of course. And so I started going to that, and then eventually started asking my dad to take me to the Sunday service. And so we started going together to that. Then just over time, my sister started coming, my mom started coming to church. I went to, and when I like actually met the Lord, I remember I was sitting on Buckbald Mountain in Tennessee. Crazy place to be, but I was at church camp for the summer at Camp Livingstone's, which I last summer recently went and like volunteered with them again, which was like completely full circle moment. But I was sitting on the mountain with one of my mentors at the time. Her name is Rachel, and she was just explaining everything to me, and it was just like the first time that I actually got it and I understood like what Jesus did for me and what that meant like moving forward, and that I just like completely started my life to the Lord then.
And how old were you?
I was in middle school at that time, probably like 6th, 7th grade.
Okay.
But obviously like I was still in middle school, and so as like life went on, I mean, it is a walk with the Lord. It's not like you're saved one day and life is perfect forever. It's a walk with the Lord and a continuous choosing every day to follow the Lord and pick up your cross daily. And so high school came around. Just a lot was going on. I didn't fall away from the Lord, but starting to live more for myself than I was for the Lord. And so senior year, got broken up with, lost a lot of my friends, which we can get into later, all of the breakups and stuff, but lost a lot of my friends. And that's when I just like completely was just me and the Lord. And that's when I was like, okay, God, like this is it. Like it's just me and you. Like I don't need anything else. And so I gave my life to Christ in middle school, but completely 100% was like, Lord, it's just me and you, was probably high school.
And do you remember the location you were at, or like the time of day it was that you just like surrendered everything to him?
I mean, I would say I fully surrendered to the Lord on that mountain. That's like when I feel like I was saved. and finally like understood everything. And obviously it's just like a walk, but I feel like I like not rededicated my life, but just like not finally understood. I would say I just a re-evaluation of like life and how I was living and how I should have been living. I don't remember exactly how I was. I just remember being in the house I live in now in my bedroom and just like, wow, God, like life is not as good as it is when it's with you. And so it was just a reevaluation of like how I could have been living and how I was, and just switching that around.
That's awesome. I love it. It's just such a magical moment for any of our audience viewers out there that have never obviously had that deep connection with the Lord, that a lot of people will say, like, how do you have so much like energy and excitement every day? And I'm like, because the Lord fills up my tank every day, right? So for anybody out there that's obviously seeking that deeper relationship, like just like you had a curiosity and surrounding yourself around those type of individuals for the Lord to work through them and in them to you is a big step of it. So that's really cool.
And it's also just like so important to realize it is like an individual walk with the Lord, and it's so easy to compare like my walk with the Lord to other people's walks with the Lord, and it's like, oh, I'm not as far along as them, or like I'm a better Christian because I am reading my Bible every day. And it's like, it's an individual walk with the Lord, and it's so important not to compare that with other people's walks, because he's working differently in all of our lives.
Right. And obviously what we're going to talk about pretty soon is your mission and what you're doing. But tell me how today you're continuously, spreading the word to others and, bringing people to hopefully that heavenly bond that you have, right, of love for him. Like what are ways you're doing things?
Well, I go to a Christian private university called Samford in Alabama. And so I feel like life in America at a Christian university is a lot different than like how I was walking with the Lord when I was overseas the past year. And I feel like it's so easy, especially going to a Christian university. I feel like people just automatically, one, assume everyone's a Christian, and two, just like get comfortable in their faith because it's like, oh, I go to a Christian university. I feel like it's so easy for people to just like coast and not. A lot of people just aren't on fire for the Lord, which just wasn't what I was used to compared to like living overseas. And so I feel like it's a daily, like I said, a daily surrender. It's a daily like, Lord, you wake up and it's, Lord, set my mind on your will and what you want for me today. Getting in the word daily, which is so much easier to say than it is to actually do, especially when just like in college, life is so busy. Every minute is planned, final season, and just trying to just get everything done in the day. And it's so easy to just not read your Bible, and you get to the end of the day and it's like, oh my goodness, like I still haven't read my Bible. I feel like it's so important to just start the day with that and just set 15, 30 minutes, an hour just aside and just get in the word and be praying daily.
Which is such a good routine, because at the end of the day, the days get busy at the end. So starting your day off when it's like quiet and simple and not stressful and right, setting that intention for the day is huge.
Which is so much easier to say. I mean, I had 2 roommates this past year, which is we're all waking up at different times and going to sleep at different times. So it's a lot easier to say, like, I'm going to get up every day and read my Bible. But I think it is so important to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. And so tell me, let's share with everybody, going back to when you were overseas, a little bit what's happened in your world that's really gotten you to where you are in God's footprint that he's putting in your life today.
Yeah. I mean, living overseas is nothing like I could have imagined. For those of you that don't know, I went on the World Race, which is a 9-month gap year program. I went to Guatemala, Romania, Hungary, Eswatini, and South Africa. And so, I mean, I feel like you like can't be prepared. I mean, I'd never been on a mission trip before, and I was like, well, go big or go home. And so I went big. And it's just absolutely like crazy how the Lord can just radically change your life overseas, and just finally like tasting and seeing the Lord's faithfulness and seeing actual poverty and the way these people are living, and especially Africa. I mean, these people have nothing, like living in huts, living off like dirty water, and kids eating grasshoppers as their like food for the day, and seeing how people live and just how like faithful their faith is. So admirable because they have nothing. I always say they have nothing yet they have everything, and it's so true. And just seeing the simple way that they live and the joy of the Lord. Like, I've never seen anyone more joyful than the people in Africa, and they are the people that like have like the most impoverished people that I have seen overseas, and it's just insane to see how they live. And the Lord just completely opened my eyes to the world and his people, and it's not just America, which is a lot easier to obviously see when you're not living in America, but he just completely wrecked my heart for the nations and for his people overseas specifically. I would live in Africa full term if I could.
Yeah,
I would love to.
And so tell everybody about what the Lord is now putting in your heart to do.
Yeah, so this summer, I won't be gone for 9 months again. I'll be only gone for a month, but I'll be going to Zambia, Africa, which is like central southern Africa, which last time I was in South Africa and Eswatini, which borders South Africa. So I'll be in Zambia, which half of the time I'll be in the city, Lusaka, which is pretty like populated, and I wouldn't say modern, but it's not living like I was in the bush. I lived in a tent and cold water bucket showers. Like,
I mean, you even she shaved her head even at one point.
I did shave my head at one point. That's a whole nother story, but I did shave my head at one point. Just like
makes it easier to get ready.
it did, but that was just a complete different story about obedience to the Lord.
Yes.
But, and then the other half I'll be in the bush of Africa, like walking to the villages, the unreached villages, and just spreading the gospel. And I think it's so cool how the Lord can change our hearts, because before the world race, I'd never been on missions. I didn't even know what that looked like. I was very, how do you say, like, very just like nails done, hair done, makeup done every day, like very like
living the American life, right?
Living American. Yes, exactly. And then I went overseas, and I was a completely different person, which wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the Lord. So it's just so cool that he can completely change. I mean, it was his plan all along, but my plans for the future had nothing of this was in there. So I think it's so cool.
I love it. And I'm so beyond proud of you. And if nobody has ever heard of the world race before and wants to either consider doing something like this, or even just like, for, kids, I don't mean to say you're obviously a young adult now, right? You're a lady, but for even just getting involved at a younger age to, keep thinking outside the box of doing different things over the summer. Like, I'm so proud of you. It took such courage and strength and obviously trust in the Lord that he would lead you through all of that, which I just think is, my hat goes off to you, and just the world race and all that they're doing to just continue to inspire other incredible Christian people to be leaders and out there, doing all the work that you do. So I love that. So here's a fun question.
Okay.
And if you're interested in supporting, I also feel like Rebecca and what she's doing, donations are encouraged.
Yes.
Because she's supposed to come up with the financial support to go on this beautiful trip. Yes. So I will definitely put some of those details in the notes as well. And to just support other kids that are going through this is a really cool opportunity too. So, fun question. Would you change your name that you were given?
My name?
Ever? Yes.
That's an interesting question. I don't think so. I mean, my full name, Rebecca, my friends call me Becca anyway, so it's like, it's still my name, but it's shortened. I don't know if I would change my name just because, I mean, I like my name, but I think it would always be cool to have, like, I think girls with guy names is so cool. Like, a girl named Bobby, like Bobbi. Or, like, I don't know. I think that's cool. I think that would be, if I could, I would change it to, like, a cool boy name.
And then why would you want to change it? Just because you've always liked that kind of,
I don't think I would change my name, but if I did, it would be, like, a cool boy name. I don't know. I don't think I would want to, though. I'm happy with Becca.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Everybody's answering it differently, so we're kind of asking it across the board. And then how has God, we talked a little bit about it, and I want to dive a little bit deeper. How has God, in the relationship you have with him, affected your love life? Since we're in the relationship business, we've got to ask this question, too.
I knew it was coming. Let's see. I mean, when you have the love of God, I mean, God is love. And so once you have a relationship with the Lord and you see what true love looks like, I mean, it says he was our first love. And just like seeing that, I think human love just is like so much farther down, and you're like, nothing could compare to the love of God, obviously. And I think as I meet more people, specifically men that love the Lord, I think it's like just like seeing how they love the Lord is inspiring for like how I love the Lord. I mean, I just like, one, don't think I could ever date anyone that's not a Christian just because they don't understand love. I mean, God is love, and they don't know the Lord, so they don't know love. And so, which is a big claim to make.
Well, and but they say, you know, obviously, love the Lord more than anything else, exactly, so that you can feel love, right? Yes. And so that is, I mean, people that don't have that same value or mindset to love the Lord first, then your mate, then your family, then everything else. Yeah. Because there's other people that prioritize, like I was having a conversation with somebody earlier about they prioritize work first or their children first, right? And it's just the order is a little bit off whack when it comes to, obviously, the way that we should feel love constantly. So I have to ask, are you dating anybody right now?
I am not. I
know you were in a little bit of a relationship before you went to Africa before.
I was. So that was beginning senior year, well, junior to senior. I was dating this boy, and we dated for like a year. I loved him. I mean, we dated for a while. And then just our paths went separate. I was going overseas for 9 months. He was going to college, and I mean, he did say, quote unquote, I don't love you anymore. And that is why we broke up, which is, it's okay. That was so
He was saving you for the next person that is meant to be your wife.
Yes. And that was about 2 years ago. And since then, I haven't been on a date. I haven't talked to a boy. I've been very much just like me and the Lord. And I think it's a very dangerous but very safe prayer to pray at the same time is, Lord, like, remove all distractions. When it's from you, like, you'll put it in my life, and until then, just like me and you. And once you pray, I mean, he will answer that prayer every single time.
Yes.
And I mean, whenever there is a boy, then I'm like, maybe him. Lord, if it's your will, then let it be done, and if not, then remove him. And every single time so far, he's gone.
That's right. Well, and I always say the Lord wants to hear from you and pray with intention, but also think about the clarity of the things that the Lord knows you need and want, and ask him who that person is, down to the specifics of like, just, you know, they have to love the Lord, and kind of like start praying prayerfully for your future mate, that God, like you said, will present you at the right time, which is a big, big step. So, well, we're going to have you back on. I'm going to do a follow-up series for everybody that I'm interviewing right now doing this that is single.
Yes.
For when either it's an introduction through us or it's an introduction just in the Lord's timing to come back on and talk about that incredible love that God does have planned for you. And I can't wait to also hear about your journey and tell everybody how they can actually, we'll have this in the notes, follow you during this trip, right? Because you have a newsletter.
I do. The newsletter I've just been sending out through email. So if I have people's emails, I can include them in that. I'll probably be posting it all on Facebook as well, and Instagram, and just keeping people up to date through like social media.
And then how do people get in touch with you?
Like if they want to like call me,
donate or be a part of this, or just
donations. I have a donation link. Financial support link.
Perfect.
Other than that, like Venmos, and then I can just transfer into the account. If you want to like contact me while I'm overseas, I should have service, but it's
You're
not,
so cute.
I don't know if I will.
Well, through email of some sort too. That we'll put all of that information in the notes as well.
And when I can respond, I'll be
right.
So,
well, we can't wait to witness and watch you go on this next mission. And what day do you leave again?
I leave in 19 days. So I leave May 27th.
Exciting. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And you come back for, in 30 days from then obviously end of June, right?
June.
Oh my gosh. Well, we cannot wait. I am so blessed and honored to have you sitting
excited.
here in the studio with me. And I can't wait to have you back on to hear all about everything that God has continued to do in your footprint that he has planned for you.
Well,
so
thanks for having me here. It's been a blast.
Of course. We are going to love and leave you and can't wait for our next podcast. We're obviously going to continue to interview these incredible people that God is leaving footprints in their lives to share with everybody as positive things are happening. And we hope to obviously continue to do this and bring you back on with more updates. We're going to love and leave you and hope you have a blessed day. It's been another great talk on this episode of One True Talks by Renee Rochelle. I look forward to our next chat. Please write in your questions and comments so I can be sure to talk about whatever it is you want to discuss in our next upcoming episode. Lots of love. God bless. XOXO.